Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and I keep going back to Dan Henninger's formulation. I don't know if it's unique to him, but he's the first one I heard say it. That the Democrats will continue talking about Trump as long as they can. Certainly, they're going to continue talking about what happened on 1/6. We're not as long as they can. They're just going to continue. They can do it from now until rapture, and they're going to. And we've talked about the reasons for that. But with respect to Trump specifically, divides Republicans, unifies Democrats. And didn't we see that this week with the parallel votes on Liz Cheney within caucus, essentially on Marjorie Taylor Greene within caucus, because we knew what the Democrats were going to do with their majority votes. Meanwhile, they're running by executive order, and now through the Senate, Democrats everything they want, as they still focus on demanding that Trump testify as a witness in the impeachment trial 2.0 next week, and using the "we have to undo everything Trump did" as the cover story to do what they've always wanted to do, regardless of whether Trump ever existed or not. For more on all this, we're pleased to be joined again by Bret Baier, Fox News anchor, #1 best-selling author of 3 Days at the Brink, FDR's Daring Gamble to Win World War II. Bret, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So I think my view, Kevin McCarthy handled the week in his caucus about as well as it could be handled to move past some of those divisions and refocus the House Republican caucus on what's being done from a policy perspective as well as a political narrative perspective by the left against Republicans.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as far as the Liz Cheney vote, that's keeping her on the caucus leadership, I think that was handled well. Not sure on the Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, obviously it's a different fact set than what happened with Congressman Steve King from Iowa, but it was handled differently. And you're right, the effort was to get past it. I think they have now, but it was, a painful political week to have to go through that.
I don't know if it was avoidable pain. It's sort of a pick your poison week for Kevin McCarthy. But in terms of next week, it seems from all indications, not only the written answer that was filed by Trump's legal defense team, but also public pronouncements from those lawyers, that impeachment 2.0 is going to be a Roman candle, and it will have exhausted itself by the time Monday rolls around. That the effort here is to make this as uneventful as possible. They know they have an acquittal in their back pocket, and they're not going to commit legal malpractice. They're going to take the acquittal, and then after Trump gets past acquittal number 2 or secures acquittal number 2, then he can go off and say whatever he wants to say about election fraud and any other matter. But in terms of what they're going to use or what they're going to do with 2.0, they're not going to make it a spectacle.
I think you're right about that. I mean, I think because they don't have the votes, they will not be able to move forward. I don't even think that the censure effort is going to go anywhere either. So, I mean, you're looking at 3-4 days max, and the former president is not testifying. We heard that from his people yesterday. Mm-hmm. Democrats would like him to testify. Because I think you're right, is that, they want to talk about Donald Trump as much as they can. And this week they found in Marjorie Taylor Greene a little blonde Donald Trump. And so that's their deal. I mean, that's how they're going to run. The question is what they can get done. And that's really where the push comes to shove when it comes to elections.
So what's next for Marjorie Taylor Greene? Well, once you're stripped of your committee, is there anything to do?
She can vote.
Mm-hmm.
She cannot go to a committee hearing. So there's a lot of time on her hands.
Well,
she'll be able to tour Washington and see a lot of things. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
She won't be going to committee hearings.
Well, who knows? She may be under review by Bank of America per Tucker Carlson's piece last night. That's a sort of a remarkable story that he broke last night. A Bank of America folding in with the feds to provide purchase data for their customers that were not under suspicion for any for committing an act of violence or even participating in the rally and the activities on January 6th. But we're going to dragnet anybody in the D.C. metro area for those 2 days and see if we can, cull from their purchasing data, anybody who may have been involved in violent activity on January 6th. That's a bit problematic and potentially legally problematic for Bank of America.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of companies that are falling in line there, and the line of privacy and customer relations and everything else comes into question. So, I've watched this space. It's not only individuals, but it's obviously media and speech that is going to be watched very closely.
Right, and we're seeing this. The lack of action at the federal level is generating action at the state level. So this week, you've seen Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, move a proposal on regulating big tech. Regulating big tech's behavior in his state, particularly when it comes to state elections. You also saw legislation introduced in Minnesota to fine big tech for improperly, based on a certain set of standards, censoring Minnesotans online. So it's pretty interesting. States are sort of picking up where the feds have failed, at least from their perspective.
Yeah, and I think the DeSantis thing is interesting. It's clearly an effort to tap into some of that frustration. But I do wonder, about the legal aspects of it and whether he has the right to get involved in all that. We'll see.
Yeah, no question. There could be a legal challenge there. I agree with you, but it's a dialogue advancer, if nothing else. And I think you're right about tapping into frustration. I wanted to also get your perspective. I mean, this again, now the reverse. This is really a state and local matter that's becoming a bit of a federal matter or national matter, or you have some people calling on federal officials to weigh in at minimum. And that's these big school districts around the country, including in our fair city of Chicago, that where the teachers will not go back to school.
I think this is a massive story. We continue to do it, all the time because that's what we get. People telling us that they want to see what the resolution is going to be. I mean, the fact that in Chicago, Mayor Lightfoot is kind of on an island as far as Democrats rallying to her support is really fascinating. And you look at San Francisco, where they're suing the school district, a school board that decided to spend time renaming schools instead of spending time figuring out how to open the schools. So I think it affects all kinds of folks, and it's a real issue.
And it's so strange how President Biden, he's not even backing the CDC director who said publicly that, hey, look, you don't need a vaccine to go back to school, that there's precautions in place to protect you. And when is Biden going to help any of us out, any of us parents who have kids in CTU or in New York or in San Francisco?
I mean, you're right. I think it's a real question about that. Jen Psaki says the president definitely wants kids back in school, and but then asked about the CDC director's comments, said, well, she was making that as a personal, as a physician or as a individual. And wait,
oh my God.
She's a CDC director now. What she says is based on science. I don't know. I think it's really frustrating for parents, and I think some teachers too. I should point out.
Yep, a lot of teachers want to go back. I know that for a fact.
He is Bret Baier, Fox News anchor and host of a special report, 5 p.m. Chicago time, weekdays, of course. #1 best-selling author of 3 Days at the Brink, FDR's Daring Gamble to Win World War II. Bret, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
In our fast-paced world, it's tough to make reading a priority. At least it used to be. at thinker.org. That's THINKR, no E, thinker.org. They summarize the key ideas from new and noteworthy nonfiction, giving you access to an entire library of great books in bite-sized form. Listen to hundreds of titles in a matter of minutes, from old classics like Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People to recent bestsellers like Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. It was my son who brought my attention to thinker.org, and it really is extraordinary. I like to read whole books, but I can't read every one, so this is a big help in my life. If you want to challenge your preconceptions, expand your horizons, and become a better thinker, go to thinker.org. That's THINKR, no E again, THINKR.org to start a free trial today. Thinker, THINKR.org.
Oh, I look forward to it every morning, getting my fruits and veggies. I love it because I want to have a strong, healthy immune system. And Balance of Nature, I believe, helps me do that. It's 6 capsules. You're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies, because you have to admit you're not getting enough on your own. And that's where Balance of Nature comes in. You hear stories here all the time about how people's lives have changed, but they are not actors. No, they're not straight out of Central Casting. Those are real, satisfied Balance of Nature customers. And you can be one too. Be proactive. Do something for yourself. Don't just sit around and wait. And waiting's not going to do anything. You have to order your bottles of Balance of Nature. Here's the number to call: 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago. Newbies get free shipping and 35% off your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Or you can go online to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
Trees provide us with many benefits: clean air, energy cost savings, and improved aesthetics, just to name a few. However, if trees are not managed properly, they can wind up costing us more than the benefits provide. The mission of Graph Tree Care is to maximize the benefits of your trees while helping minimize costs, risk, and liability. Graph Tree Care is the leader in urban forest management, tree inventory, and tree risk management. Working with over 30 municipalities, 50 park districts, and hundreds of homeowners associations, Graph Tree Care uses a tech-based platform to keep track of your trees in real time. They use the system to map, monitor, and plan for your tree population. Graph Tree Care will maximize the benefits and minimize the costs and risks of your trees in Illinois or Indiana. Go to graphtreecare.com and schedule a free consultation and review of your current tree management plan. Learn about safety and savings for your municipality, park district, or HOA. Go to graphtreecare.com and schedule a free consultation. graphtreecare.com.
Just last week, Twitter decided to ban Mike Lindell. He's the CEO of MyPillow. This comes after several big box retailers decided to take MyPillow products off their shelves. Why? Because Mike is a conservative who supports Donald Trump. Big tech wants to silence voices like Mike's, and this is just another reason why you need to check out the great line of MyPillow products and support this great American company. You already know about their pillows, but you also need to try